Why buy wrestling figures when you can buy an entire wrestling set? Tony Khan buys Ring of Honor. This was the big announcement that Tony had been trailing up until Dynamite, and he delivered it with aplomb last night on the show.
Certainly did. We joked about it yesterday, didn't we? About
did.
This happening, but it's actually gone and bloody happened.
Shout to Newcastle-based comedian Stephen Peddy, who called Tony Khan buying Ring of Honor about a week ago.
Shout to Adam and Tom for calling Tony Khan buying Ring of Honor.
But I called it because Stephen Peddy called it.
Well, I called it because I'm a wrestling genius.
The Sean Ross Sapp of comedy.
Tony Khan opening last night's show with this huge announcement revealing that he now owns the company. And then a really, really nice touch, bringing out Bryan Danielson and Christopher Daniels, who competed in the first main event in Ring of Honor. And they took the opening match with a bloody barn burner as well.
If he was a real fan, he'd have brought out Loki as well, but I'm just...
Nobody, do not bring out Loki.
That's absolutely fine.
Caval can stay away.
After announcing the acquisition, a press release went out confirming that indeed Tony Khan has purchased the company from Sinclair. This includes the ROH video library, all those Ring of Honor DVDs, brand assets, intellectual property, all the production equipment, everything you need to get the company rocking and rolling again. COO of ROH, Joe Koff, says Ring of Honor has produced some of the best professional wrestlers over the past 20 years. But more importantly, it created a family. I'll forever be grateful to everyone in the ROH family who has worked tirelessly for the past 2 decades to take ROH to levels previously unimagined. Tony has the utmost appreciation and respect for Ring of Honor, and I'm truly excited to see how he continues the legacy. I think if anybody was going to buy out Ring of Honor with the passion for Ring of Honor, probably Tony Khan's a good shout.
That's one thing that I really like about Tony and AEW generally, is that with WWE, you sometimes get the sense that they're sort of ashamed to be pro wrestling, right? They're sports entertainment, right? They don't use wrestling, etc., etc. But with Tony Khan, it's like, yeah, I'm proud that this is a wrestling company, and I think if you're told as fans that you shouldn't be proud to be a pro wrestling fan, then sort of why bother? And I quite like that about AEW.
It'd be interesting. So what happens next for Ring of Honor? Well, Supercard of Honor is coming up. Now, the talent, as far as time of recording, have not been briefed on what sort of this means for them. This comes from Fightful, who say that they found out while watching Dynamite that the company had been bought. Most of the ROH people are still associated with the company. There's only a couple left under contract. Everybody else, as we know, was let go before Christmas, and the plan was, following Supercard of Honor, to hire people on a freelance basis. And they have made some commitments to some wrestlers for shows beyond Supercard of Honor, which we understand that AEW will honor. Whether or not they choose to keep them further is another thing. But in terms of what happens next with ROH, Cassidy Haynes of Bodyslam.net brings us this, saying, when asking around about the sale of ROH and plans for the company going forward, sources confirmed to me that the internal plan calls for AEW to utilize Ring of Honor as a developmental territory of sorts. Additionally, it was said that main roster AEW talent will be dipping into the ROH brand on occasion. We'll keep you updated with more information as we get it.
It sounds really sensible, that.
That's the right thing to do.
It really is, isn't it? And like, it'll draw more eyes to the product if you send an AEW talent, whether it be Jungle Boy or John Moxley or whoever, right? Down to, saying it already, down to Ring of Honor. Then it's going to draw more eyes there. You're going to share the experience, the wealth of experience that some of those more experienced wrestlers have with up-and-coming stars, and I think everybody grows as a result of that.
Carrie Silkin, the former ROH owner now, has put out a statement on his social media saying congratulations to Tony Khan on his purchase of Ring of Honor. At least I know my baby is in good hands. What a long, strange trip it has been as we move forward.
So we don't know the financial details on this. The figures that were being floated that we talked about yesterday were 20 million, 40 million, somebody met in the middle at 30 million for 50% of the company, so we don't know the specifics. I would say that because he's acquired everything, people are getting already very, very excited about like the video library being available on demand somewhere sooner rather than later. But I think that's actually going to be quite a time-consuming process, because the amount of licensed music that they used to use, they're going to have to go over that with a fine-tooth comb.
Good luck to the team sifting through all that.
Yeah, and realistically, they're not going to license the music if that goes online. probably you do the old
Well,
WWE
I would imagine,
thing.
like with Honor Club, like that's something they've dealt with. So maybe it'll continue that way.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
yet to
maybe.
find out. It's interesting that you mentioned, like, you know, the purchasing of a tape library, because there was a lot, according to Fightful, the big conversation was going into AEW that Tony had purchased a tape library. WWE reported to be surprised by the announcement of Ring of Honor now being owned by Tony Khan, because WWE, up until Dynamite started, were under the belief that Tony Khan had bought a Japanese tape library that wasn't New Japan Pro Wrestling. Maybe Pro Wrestling know her, I don't know her, but possibly that. And they had no idea that that he throw the money into Sinclair to buy them.
Right. And it's kind of it must be annoying for WWE, because realistically they've still got, you know, you've still got your Seth Rollins and stuff on there. They would probably quite fancy that tape library for their documentary stuff that they do, and just to have it in their archive that they can dip in and pick chunks out, etc. So that must be a little bit frustrating.
Just to jump around a little bit and talk a little bit more about sort of ROH plans going forward, the interesting thing here is the relationship with Impact. Once again, Impact find themselves in the center of attention with something like this, because Deonna Purrazzo is the reigning ROH Women's Champion, and she's an Impact talent. And we know that AEW and Impact have had some strong relationships in the past, and we know that door has been closed for the time being. And obviously, in Impact, we also have the faction Honor No More, which is a Ring of Honor invasion group. What happens with that? Is that something that will be allowed to continue? I would like to think that Tony Khan might, you know, see sense and go, we'll let that angle play out. We might even roll it into what we're doing here.
Right, it makes sense, because that's just going to increase intrigue in the Ring of Honor brand as a whole, right? If you've got it on a prominent TV show, or a fairly prominent TV show like Impact Wrestling, then people are going to be interested in seeing what's going on Ring of Honor programming.
And you think so, and then you've got another little anomaly on the side, which is Progress Wrestling. Jonathan Gresham has been featured recently on Progress, which is on the WWE Network. Now they're owned by Ring of Honor, now owned by AEW.
Expect that to stop pretty soon. Who did they have on? It was Anthony Ogogo, wasn't it? They had Anthony Ogogo wrestle on a Progress show. That was cut from the WWE Network. Right. So I would expect probably that maybe Ring of Honor talent, if they do continue to head to Progress, that might not make it to WWE Network on Peacock.
We've already seen a Ring of Honor talent.
Chuffed about this.
This is ace, isn't it?
She's so nice. She's
Spoiler
awesome.
for AEW Dark Elevation, by the way. I won't give you the result, but Session Moth Martina.
Go on. Do the rave thing. That's Jeff Hardy. Stop.
Darude
DMCA.
Sandstorm. Session Moth Martina has made her AEW debut on Elevation in a match against Ruby Soho. So she's got this really unique little thing going on this month, whereby this month she will be on AEW television and she'll be on the WWE Network facing an Impact Wrestling star.
That's cool, isn't it? Isn't that fun?
And she's at North Wrestling at the end of the month as well in Newcastle.
There you go. She's so talented, and whenever I'm asked on streams or whatever, it's like, who do you think that AEW could do with signing? I used to say Danhausen quite a lot. They've done that, but as far as strong characters go, there is nobody stronger than Session Moth Martina, and she's a very, very nice person as well.
Absolutely.
So chuffed for her. Absolutely chuffed for her.
You deserve it. Clap, 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 clap. More news on this throughout the day. This is, of course, a moving beast of a breaking bit of news, and we'll keep you posted at cultaholic.com. Tony Khan buys Ring of Honor.
Just a second, Tom.
Oh, hang on.
That's Tony. Oh, I've been signed.
Oh,
right. See you later.
Well done, mate.
All the best.
See you in a bit.
Bye.
Am I head of news now?
No!